Cheers, Drew.
Cheers.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here, and thanks for your patience. We had this scheduled, and then we rescheduled, and then we've kind of moved around a little bit from here and there. But I appreciate you making the time to come in. And I always appreciate what you post on your Instagram, which I think is very fun, and it keeps me entertained. And I go, anytime I see it in my story, I go, what's he posting about today? And I always have to click on it because there's a lot of great wine in there. So you know the deal. Let's, if you could introduce yourself, tell people where you're at, and then kind of run us your story. Tell us where it all started.
My name's Drew. I am the alcohol department head for Haight Street Market. That's Gus's, the Haight Street store, the old one, in the Haight-Ashbury. Story? Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Let's see. I was, as far as working in wine, I was working at Bi-Rite in in-house prepared foods, fermented foods. I was talking, I think, about like a chicken salad or something, and Trackley walked by and was like, I don't want to, it's Track. So he goes, I don't want to tell you you're wasting your time. But you could be putting that to use in a different way. There was something about the way I was talking about like a chicken salad.
The descriptors.
Yeah. And from there it was like, it's interesting. And so I kind of started to think more and more about it, and kind of started to look at what was on the cards in that section, and then apply more of that style to what I was doing in the section where I was working. And then later also when I moved over to produce in that area, in that company, basically the same thing of like every time something gorgeous would come in and taste it, write down notes, taste it, try to find out who the farmer was, try to talk to them, and then like talk to the customers. And he like, this is what I like about this. This is why I think this is great. Yes, it is $12.99 for like a bag of mandarins, but trust me,
It comes from good people.
So yeah, that kind of started that. I think once I got into, once I started to move toward working in wine, I kind of remembered, I think I was like 7, and I was a ring bearer in a wedding, and the groomsmen thought it would be hysterical if they give a 7-year-old champagne in the limo between the ceremony and the reception. And I remember loving that. Like, I never got away from it. I still
good
love
first
champagne.
wine.
Yeah. And my mom was like, are you drunk? And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what I do know is that these guys gave me some kind of weird juice, and I thought it was great, and I kind of don't know how I feel right now. I'm kind of hot. This tuxedo is killing me.
Yeah.
But it was funny because, all through my life being in the South, I would hear, you have champagne taste on a beer budget. And I'm like, turns out I really just like champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even less than a beer budget sometimes.
Yeah, even less than
you
a
make
beer
it work,
budget. Often, yeah. Sometimes it's Everclear and 7-Up budget when you're young.
Yeah, I mean, if you close your eyes long enough, it feels like champagne.
Yeah, right.
And so then Bi-Rite was kind of your dive into the kind of concept of conscious point of origin for groceries and meat, fermented and prepared foods and things like that.
It was, I had been working for Whole Foods before the buyout for years. I worked in their front of house. I was a demo coordinator. So I got to meet a lot of vendors, a lot of producers that way. And then I moved over into their like dry grocery and bulk sections, which I kind of had I've kind of always had the same exact approach to any product that I was working, which is, why do I care about this? How can I find like this stuff that makes me interested in it? So if it was bulk, it was, where is this Canadian faro coming from? How, like who can I talk to? Like what makes this so great or not great? Is living intentions like do they have are sprouted almonds really different from roasted almonds? Yeah, they do. They are. They split differently. They taste different.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. Even when I worked like in bookstores, it was, if I'm going to do a travel section, well, what do people want to see? Like, am I going to focus on this line or this line? How do I present it? How do I build out the section so that it's somewhere where people want to stay and kind of spend time? So it's pretty much, I guess, a compulsion to like just dig into whatever I'm working on. And eventually it came around to wine. So.
Was there an adult in your life as a child that maybe had this like ability to fixate on certain things like this that maybe imprinted on you, or is it just, you think it's just something you were born with?
No, I think it was pretty much my own thing, honestly. Cool. Like when I think about like the parents in my life, that like they were either, you know, moving from interest to interest and not necessarily like super focused on it. And that was kind of a family tradition too. Like multiple people in a family have done multiple things and just kind of moved and tried to go until they feel satisfied, and then switch and do something else, and do the same thing and then switch and do something else. So maybe that in a way kind of does it, but I never really had those kind of conversations of like how focused in are they on what they're doing. This is just what gets, you know, toys in your hands and food in your mouth, you know. It's like, oh yeah, you leave and go for work, you know. Whatever that is,
I'll see you in 10 hours
exactly.
After the commute and the 8-hour work day. And then so after Bi-Rite, working in the grocery section, and having met Track at the time, what was the leap? Was the leap directly into Gus's, into the beverage side of things? Did you take over beverage at Bi-Rite?
It wasn't, no. I left, like, I moved into produce, and I spent a good 3 years in that, maybe 2.5, 3 years. And then in the second half of COVID, you know, when things were kind of completely insane, I, like, ran away to New York.
Wow. Change of scenery.
Yeah. It was so, like, you know, everybody remembers that time. I'm not going to talk about how it affected everybody because we were all there.
Yeah.
But I left and just kind of kicked around and tried to find out what I wanted to do next. And eventually, like, my rent special ran out. And so the place I was living in tripled in rent from 1 month to the next. I thought, this is a great time to go home.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden.
San Francisco is great. It always has been. It always will be.
That's right.
So let's go back. And when I was here, when I got back here, I saw a listing for beer buyer at Gus's. I applied for that. They called me back and said, well, we don't have that, but you could do like 6 other things. And I was like, there's no way. I'm like, I don't want to do anything involving groceries or anything necessarily food oriented anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone as far as I want to. I'm like, but I appreciate your time. You know, have a great rest of whatever is out there. And maybe like 2 weeks later, they called back and they were like, okay, there is a clerk position at the Noriega store. I was like, okay, I'll go and talk about that. And so I met Jeremy, our director of the program for all the 5 stores.
Is there 5 now?
There are, with Canyon Market.
Oh, Canyon Market. I keep forgetting.
It's the 5th one.
I remember the first time I noticed that, it was like they had the Gus's tortilla chips. And I was like, why do they have Gus's tortilla chips? And it took me like months to put it together.
Well, like, only the Mission store and the Mission Bay store are like Gus's, and they're only Gus's.
Right.
The rest of them all have secondary names.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Because Noriega's Noriega Produce, Canyon Market is theirs, and we're Haight Street Market.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of a weird tradition at this point, and it also, it makes the day for a lot of drivers who are like, all right, is this Gus's or is this Haight Street? Like the number seems right, but am I in the right place?
Yeah. That's so funny.
Trust. You're
poor delivery drivers.
So I got that. I walked in, and within a few weeks, I realized that I'd been hired for spirits buyer. I thought I had been hired as a clerk.
So it was supposed to be beer. You applied for beer.
Yeah.
And then it was clerk, but clerk was spirits.
Clerk wound up being spirits buyer.
That's funny.
Who also did the job of the clerk.
Got it. Okay.
Because the spirits section was 2 metros.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really need 40 hours of labor for 2 metros worth of spirits?
Yeah.
You can.
I mean, it's kind of like post-pandemic where roles were consolidated anyways, though, right? You're a floor manager plus the som, or whatever.
If they'd have given me 40 hours to spend on spirits, you better believe I would have found a way to fill it. But yeah, it was a fun challenge to be like, I have to get all of this done, and then I can do my spirits work.
Right.
So that was a blast, and I started going and trying to find places where I could learn, because you only had such a short amount of time to try anything. If you had a vendor who was going to show up with vermouth or something, because that was also part of the gig. That was part of the spirits
Fortifieds,
set. So I started going. I realized a friend of mine from way, way back when I had worked at Whole Foods was working at Churchill. And so I started hanging out there, and like, can I try this? Can I try this? Because I saw some overlap between what was already in the set and things that I was interested in. And I would look at their bar and just be like picking brains. And there was a person there named Lucy who was also working at Prize Fighter.
Okay.
And she was like just super, super knowledgeable and like really easy to talk to, had no like pretense. I asked her like what the point of high proof bourbon was, and she's like, "Just more booze in it."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, basically.
So it was that kind of thing. Like I said, a lot of stuff that I was interested in, and then also they'd be like, "Oh, here, try this." You know?
Yeah.
And we tended to just chit chat about what was good about it, how it was made, and then I would come back and like talk to reps and be like, "Oh yeah, what about this? And what about this?"
And then you'd figure out what to use it for, in the sense of like, for the consumer standpoint,
or have no idea.
What is this? How do I use this? You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you're like, this just sounds really great. Let's get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, Kina. I tried it the other day. It was amazing. You know what? I'm gonna put it on here. So it'll be $50.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
Oof. There's always, we all go through those lessons though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I remember loving so many things and buying it, and then just realizing that the sell through wasn't viable.
Yeah. I finally sold out.
Yeah, there we go.
I took it with me when I moved
That's so
2
funny.
years ago.
Yeah. That's hilarious. And then, so, spirits as a clerk, and then you'd pop into Churchill's, you'd taste a bunch of different cool spirits and things like that. And then how did you now your title is alcohol buyer. So did you get into beer then, or wine, or kind of all of it at once?
Beer was kind of easy during the like it's such a like, well, beer was much further back. McKellar had been doing those like single hop or single yeast
Oh
series,
yeah.
like years and years and years ago. And that's when they first started. I think that was Whole Foods at Noe Valley, where I first started to like figure out what I liked about beer and which ones were interesting, because it was the exact same thing I was talking about with like every other job that I'd had, where it was like, okay, well, this is broken down into something granular, and I can try this different thing.
It's an isolated example. Yeah.
So it would be like, one strain of yeast, but we're going to do it with these different hops all throughout the summer. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. I totally want to do that. So that kind of got me primed for beer. But then, like, again, during the pandemic, a friend of mine and I would get out of work, and the main thing that we would be able to do was, grab a 4-pack or a tall can and then walk.
Yeah.
And so we would walk from the Divisadero location to the beach every single day.
Yeah.
And we would stop wherever we could get a next tall can and then like throw a frisbee. We weren't like trying to play a game. We weren't into disc golf. We weren't trying to like do anything interesting, except for that was what we could do.
Yeah.
Was we could stand 6 feet away and we could just toss a frisbee to each other and like kill a tall can like and just walk all the way to the beach and ride back. So that we tried a lot of beers.
Yeah.
I think Handy Liquor on 19th and Irving was like a daily stop for the longest time. I got to know Handy.
Well, as long as there's a selection, so many places you go into nowadays just have like the same beers or the same wines, and you're just kind of like, okay. But yeah, I mean, it was during the boon of craft beer. I think that there was a lot more opportunities. That was my kid trying to break into the room.
Cool.
There was a lot more opportunity, and I feel like I mean, everybody was experimenting for a long time,
For the longest time. And then, I mean, Citra is great. And so
Yeah.
it's easy to put it in everything.
Exactly.
And so is Amarillo, so is Simcoe.
And Mosaic and
Yeah.
all those, yeah.
You like Galaxy? Bless its heart.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, can be awesome.
Well, that's so funny. And then wine. I mean, you mentioned Track as kind of one of the people that originally planted the seed, let's say. Was Track somebody that you started tasting with more regularly, and did he play a role in kind of your learning about wine?
No, pretty much no contact. I just kind
that's
of
funny.
looked up to like what he was doing and like the kind of the freedom and swagger that Track had.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, this guy's kind of like writing his own day.
Yeah.
And program. I was like, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And he's also doing something like with the tasting and study and practice that really appeals to how I like to work. So it just kind of grew and grew and grew to something that once I finally had an opportunity to jump into it, it was like, this is mine. I mean,
Yeah.
Like this is exactly what I've been trying to do for years. So I'm going to like go as hard at it as I can. And really just, push yourself, haul cases around all day.
Yep.
Try to read as much as possible when I'm not tasting, taste as much as possible when I'm not asleep, or like try to get cases out. Yeah.
So how long now have you been buying the wine for?
I've been buying wine for a little over 2 years. Let's see, that would have been October, so almost 2.5 years. At Haight Street Market as the wine, beer, and spirits.
Cool.
But wine, because of the volume of product and information, kind of takes up most of the day.
Sure.
And with the spirits being behind glass, it's not really a big mover. I still get people who are like, oh, wow, I didn't know you had that there.
Yeah. I guess I've gone to like Good Life out in, is it Bernal Heights? Good Life somewhere. And when I go, like half of their spirits, they have a couple spirits in the section by the wine, and they have a bunch of spirits over by the cash registers.
Yeah.
And I could see that, like if you're a customer and you're in and you're just kind of like moseying around and like not looking for something in particular. I mean, I go in, and even when we walk into like Target, I'm like, gotta look at the wine section.
Yeah.
Who's selling the Target now? What's going on in Target? And like Ridge, as soon as they got picked up, immediately started selling to Target. And I was just like, I can't believe Ridge is selling to Target. And then I'm like, but you know what? They got to fucking pay their bills, It's either that or they're going to sell out like some of these other people. They're going to sell to these big conglomerate companies.
Yeah, and plus, I do get the conflict, but also I love when my friends do well.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that goes all the way back to like the root of like when I was a buyer, when I was a younger buyer, and it was all about, and maybe this is more specifically like a restaurant thing because maybe it doesn't make sense in retail. Having never worked in retail, I guess I can't contest to that. But is like, I want a wine that nobody else has. That was always the thing. Like, don't sell me something you're going to sell to my neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were always trying to like make margins on things by the glass.
Yeah.
So you knew if your neighbor bought it and they priced it lower than you, and you guys are pouring the same wine for $4 difference a glass, your customers are going to say something. You know what I mean? But then inversely, you don't go through enough volume to keep the winery afloat, so it's not really fair to kind of have that like all me, nobody else kind of mentality. Which I learned, the more I grew, the more I was kind of like, oh, that was a little naive of me to think that I should be the only person in town carrying this wine.
Yeah. I mean, my margin targets are like, that's something I report to my director and like the owners of the company. Other than that, I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
It's like, as long as those numbers are there, like I can go, like we have a lot of latitude as far as what we can go after. And so it's like, is it good? Does it make margin? Put it on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the last test is, do the customers like it?
Yeah.
And if they don't, then,
Yeah.
you move on, or you just try a little harder.
Yeah.
Like
shave a little more margin.
Yeah. Be on the floor just a touch more, maybe.
That's right. Yeah. And that brings me to kind of one of my other questions, which is like, as somebody that's been in this role now for 2.5 years and probably works the floor plenty and gets, and not beyond getting to talk to the consumers or the buyers, or the customers, I guess. Beyond that, you're also seeing the sell through of certain things. Is there something in particular, a category in particular that you think like really drives the majority of your business in that location? And is it a surprise at all?
I mean, it's probably things that are $12.30 a bottle and under.
Okay.
And it kind of goes from one end of the section to the other.
Sure.
Because these are also folks who are going to the grocery store. Like, they are also getting kettle chips and spaghetti and, like, trying to give their kid a package of blueberries so they don't lose it in the middle of the store. So you have to be, you have to be humble enough to go, like, all right, we're going to sell some Klein farmhouse, and that's going to be great. Yeah, because people like it and because they're enjoying it and they're on the way home from whatever they're doing. Yeah.
There's a lot of decision fatigue in the world. I feel like having a brand that's familiar isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No. Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, there's certain lines where you're like on the inside, or when you're hanging out later on with your other buddies and somebody laughs at a brand name and you're like, yes, absolutely. And I'm glad I don't have that. But then you also look at some other things on your shelf and you're like, damn. Like, I can't start naming names too hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's and even still, like at restaurants, I see it happen all the time. Was talking to somebody recently that runs an incredible program with a bunch of like cool, crazy library like Rhone wines, but sells a shitload of Camus. Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's like, if we really want to be like dogmatic about it, we're going to be pushing consumers away even more. Right. And that's not what we need. We need people drinking wine. Yeah. And if they want to drink Camus, let them drink Camus.
Yeah. Well, I had similar thing like earlier today. Is you always have those customers who are like, I do not want to drink Chardonnay. It's buttery. It makes me crazy. Yeah. I'm like, that's so fine. Yeah. Let's get you any other Chardonnay. Yeah. Or not one. And these Rombauer splits are for everybody else. Yeah. Besides you. Basically, yeah. And they're great too. Put on Kendrick and pour a bunch in the tub. Like, fine, enjoy your Rombauer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's kind of like I feel like if I was going to diagnose our industry with anything, right, it's kind of the level of division that takes place on like a brand level, or like the level of judgment that takes place of like, my grandma still drinks barefoot. Yeah. She has my whole life. And why? Because it's a glass of wine. She doesn't give a fuck. She pours it over ice. Yeah. Who cares? Whatever. Yeah. She's having a glass of wine. Let her enjoy it herself. You know? It's not our job to judge. I think it's our job to educate when somebody wants to be educated.
When they do.
Because sometimes they don't want you to tell them about how small this producer is. They don't want you to tell them about that stuff. They just want a glass of wine. They just want to buy a bottle.
Right. The only time that I think that like I kind of, it's not even so much of having the conversation of defending or justifying or anything, is when a place 3 blocks away buys barefoot. Yeah. By the train container, like by the container load, and can offer it at a price there's no way we're ever going to get to as a 5-store business. Yeah. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah, you do get that down the street for like $7, and they really love that you still made it over here. Yeah. Let's get you this. Yeah. Which isn't going to be $7. It's probably going to be $15 or more. But equally valued,
Well, I feel like people that go to Gus's are similar to the people that go to Bi-Rite. I mean, they're not going there because it's the cheapest store.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, honestly,
we would go to Safeway. Yeah. If we didn't care about where things came from, or if we didn't care about like any of that stuff, or if it was all about the bottom dollar. I mean, Safeway's is as close as you get to that here, unless you go to the Asian markets or something like that, which are or the Latin American markets, which are all great. Yeah. But I feel like people walk in the door at Gus's probably. Yeah. I would assume that people walk in the door at Gus's a little more aware that they're going to be spending some money.
It's going to be a little bit. I mean, luckily, it's another part of it's another boon to the structure there that as long as I'm hitting that like blended margin target, like honestly, some of the things that you get to put in people's hands for a few bucks, like for the prices that we do have and for the retail margin, is kind of awesome. You're like, I saw that at another place, and even the to-go option over there is kind of high. Yeah. For a normal budget,
The store that you're at, I probably have only been to once long ago. I go to the one in Mission Bay pretty frequently because it's It's well,
Heather's awesome. So
it's on that side of town.
Yeah.
So I end up there pretty often, and it seems great. Like the selection and it sounds like you each have your own autonomy in many ways.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a general theme that kind of spreads across the stores, which again is kind of in the vein of what we've discussed. Where does it come from, right? There's a lot of like cool, I wouldn't even necessarily say like natural wines, but like, you know, minimal intervention wines, authentic wines, like wines of place, you know, which is reassuring to see. I'm sure sometimes it feels like you're swimming against the stream.
It can. I mean, I kind of feel fortunate in that way too, because I learned a lot of my wine knowledge and a lot of the education I had came from Lance out at the Noriega store, Lance Whitson. And so it was a lot of, you know, you could call it conventional, but he also does some wacky stuff and like gets some really interesting things. And then it went from him to working with Siavash, who is like just an awesome human being and like has completely different values and ideas around wine and what it should do and where it should come from and why it's this. So I kind of feel fortunate that I've landed in between those. So I try to kind of balance in between those things, and then also, you know, meeting a lot of the folks out in the world that I do kind of tend to gravitate toward. And then also the fact that the Haight is kind of in the middle of the city, and there are a lot of other wine folks who live around there. It makes for some interesting blend, honestly, if I were to look at it. Because there are a lot of conventional things, a lot of things that we kind of backed into being natural around because it was like, oh, this tastes great. Oh, it's not sulfured? That's great too.
That's even better.
That's even better for some folks, which is great. Yeah. But yeah, like we do have a lot of natural things. We do get to curate a lot. And so each one does have like its own identity. And like I said, Heather Smiley's an awesome buyer. Good contact to have and person to ask questions too.
When a company comes online like Canyon Market, it's reassuring to see that it's not like the identity of the store was stripped away. You know, there was a little bit of reconstruction when it came to like moving of cash registers and things like that. Yeah. And then there was like the bulk dry goods section was kind of converted, right? Yeah. But like, and then the wine got moved and it got expanded a little bit more, which was great to see, but it still feels like Canyon Market. I mean, cool. Our daughter's 3 and she's been going to daycare since she was 3 months old. And that's the store on the way back from daycare on the way to our house. So we've stopped there for a long time. So it's nice to see that while a company like Gus's is expanding, it's not just like, you know, stripping the soul from something,
right? And
copying and pasting in an ingredient that seems to work, you know.
Yeah.
What are certain brands that you really love? I mean, before the podcast, we were talking about like Dreamcoat, and we were talking about brands like that. Is there anything that like if a customer walks in, you're like always strong arming them into, or not strong arming them, but like, is there any like ace in the hole that you have?
Gosh, I really wish that was the way I thought, because that would really be easy.
Sure.
There are some things that I fall back on because they're either warehouse items and they're easy to replenish, or they're things that have been around in the stores, like that are consistent across the different markets. So, I mean, you know, if somebody says they want a cab, there's a good chance that I'll point them toward Fabulist, because it's $24 on our shelf, and because it's, you know, classic Paso, and it's not going to offend anybody. It's not going to like blow anybody's mind. It's going to be good. You know, they're going to like it, and they're going to get more of it. If there were things that I kind of lost my mind over, Isa. Like I love having Isa's Sauvignon Blanc and her Merlot. I met her through Bibi. Okay. Isabella Morano. Her wines are tasty. They're delicious. I mean, Julie Laide. Yeah. I try to get people to grab as much Julie Laide. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, if you can go to a grocery store and grab Julie Laide, I feel like you're making out.
Yeah.
How many more can I get on the shelf?
Right.
Like, are we out of glutathione? All right, it's time to make another order. That's fun. Landa. Like Donnie
Yeah.
makes amazing wines.
Yeah.
And it's great to have his product in the store. Anytime I can do something direct, where I can meet the person who's making it, is definitely a plus. And that's the same, I think, like in all the other things that I've worked in, to where if I can find out who that is and like make that connection, or if they happen to be in the store and a customer walks by and I'm like, oh, this person makes that thing that you like.
Yeah.
And they go like they have that moment of, oh crap, that's a person.
Right.
That's a blast.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
it becomes something somebody made with their hands.
Yeah. Like everything I've managed to put on the shelf from the culture book has been a blast.
Yeah,
like
Peter's
working with
selection's
Peter's awesome.
sick, yeah.
It really is.
His dog's named after Gus's.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Little Gussie. I love little Gussie.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. I think he may have told me. But those wines are a blast.
Yeah.
And it never gets old. There's always another one that you can grab to be like, oh man, another Shannon. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's put more on. How many have we had? Like 8 this summer?
That's so funny.
There's still room.
Yeah. Well, I feel like those wines too, it's almost like maybe this is ignorant to say, it feels like the top of the category is still reasonably affordable. I mean, despite the massive tariffs that are being imposed on South Africa right now,
Right.
The most expensive wines are maybe, 60 to 80 wholesale or something, right?
Something like.
When you have Burgundies that are wholesaling in thousands of dollars a bottle, you have Bordeaux that wholesales for hundreds of dollars a bottle.
Yeah.
It's a category, it's a region that I still feel like there's so much value in, despite getting tariffed into oblivion right now.
Despite getting tariffed into oblivion, for sure. But I mean, it's also fun too, because the folks who are passionate about Shannon are very passionate about Shannon. They're fun to chat with, and it's a great grape that you can make a million things out of. So it's always a blast to come back to that, since Peter is such an advocate for that movement, for the Hella Shannon event too. It puts you in more contact. Like that's how I met. That's how I put Maitre de Chez on my shelf.
Oh yeah.
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 So it's just that's how I got back into Craig Harmeyer's wines. Those
Did you go to the Hella Shannon Fest?
Yeah, I went went last year,
Yeah.
and like I'd never met Craig in person, and I was exactly what I was hoping for.
He's everything you would hope for.
Yeah, man, it was great.
Yeah.
I see him just pouring it onto an oyster and going at it.
Yeah.
And basically just being like, "Yeah, come over here, try this."
I loved everywhere that I went. There was like 4 wines, and then I walked up to Craig's table and he had like 9.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he said, I'm only pouring things that are current vintage. And it was 9 Chenin Blancs. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. 9 Chenin Blancs are current vintage. 9 different Chenin Blancs.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see that dedication to a variety,
I just sold out of the Malou. I was like, that's great. I love that I have enough customers who are like willing to play around with sweeter wines.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great.
Or his Gemischter Did you have that?
I didn't have that. No, I we did like a whole, like I like to do series.
Oh, yeah.
So last summer I did, Shannon Summer. Like I just totally bought into the Hella Shannon thing, and just like went Shannon, like one after another. So I think I grabbed 3 or 4, like the Enfouter, the entry level, the Cresci, and then I think I grabbed the Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
Just to say that I didn't do another 4 Shannon.
Yeah.
And that was, you just keep pounding after them. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think and the Old Vine? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not the Verts. No, the Verts is the Riesling. What are some of the other series and things like that? Are you doing them monthly, or are you doing
just kind of as as the idea comes up. So like spring, we do a Natty Spring.
Cool.
Things are growing. Some stuff is a little smelly. Let's do a great big 10 case order from Skoola and put some like fun natty wines in people's baskets.
Yeah.
So we do that, where we just kind of focus on naturals for the folks who love it. It's like we don't necessarily tell every single person, because there are, just as many people who don't want to go anywhere near it. But like if you're watching and you notice it, you're like, oh yeah, that's fun.
That's funny.
Gamay. I never get tired of doing Gamay series, so sometimes we'll do summer of it, and then of course we have it during November.
Yep.
Fall for Cabernet Franc, because I just love the taste of Cabernet Franc with a panettone.
Yeah.
What else? Yes, like I said, Shine on Summer. We do a bunch of little holidays. So like we've got like Lazio up for Ides of March right now.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
About to switch that to do, because I grew up in New Orleans, so we do Feast of St. Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch and do a Sicilian display.
That's great.
Again, it's like, what is going on this week that I can put 5 bottles on a crate and
Yeah.
just have like some 3-line sign that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of work, though. I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like and I think maybe this is the side that, again, I'm not quite as exposed to, which is like, it's not like you're just buying wine and putting it on the shelf.
No.
You're constantly thinking about ways to keep it interesting, and you're thinking about ways to invigorate sales. You're thinking about ways to maybe uplift producers that aren't performing quite as well. And how much of the time are you on the floor selling?
A decent amount. I'd say it's either a little under or a little more than half. Luckily, a couple of years, like my first year, because of my overall retail experience, I had the goal of just like writing my entire merch and promo plan for the year by February.
Wow.
By the end of February. And so once I got the first year on, it was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I did all of it. And then at the end of that year, it was like, okay, these things worked. These things were like a little challenging. So what am I going to keep? What am I going to not keep? And then repeat it, this is our 3rd year of doing a Natty Spring.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit easier so that I can spend a little bit more time on the floor. And so even though I don't necessarily know exactly what bottle I'm going to grab or what brand I'm going to grab, I have a good idea of what direction it's going to go.
Right.
If that makes sense. So that I can just kind of plug in the things that work with the theme. And it becomes just a little bit faster, a little bit easier to kind of do a schedule send at the end of the week and then go like, okay, I am going to keep that one, or I'm not going to keep that one because I don't have labor next week to do 32 cases besides my warehouse orders.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's also time to kind of get a few. I think I need to get Foxglove back because it's a little bit like I need some more bottoms, like some like lower half shelves. So yeah, it's always making little adjustments here and there, but there's like a definite structure to the year.
Sure.
So,
but back to the analytical side of things, it's not enough to just throw spaghetti at the wall, throw the pasta at the wall, and see what sticks. You're analyzing what works and what doesn't work, and why it works and why it doesn't work.
Yeah. And then if it doesn't, then you put it away and you make notes of like why it didn't work, and then you do something different the next time, and it's just constantly refining or experimenting and trying different things, and then continuing on. So.
And you mentioned warehouse a couple times. The warehouse is, I'm assuming, somewhere where you're placing larger orders of certain SKUs, or there's something that the stores all share kind of amongst.
Our director kind of sets the tone for the department, but then also is our warehouse buyer.
Okay.
So he's tasting the things that we get as pallet drops.
Got it.
And so then we replenish off of that. We build stacks out of it, which is a very nice thing to have because you can kind of take a few extra 4-case, 5-case drops out of your week and just have it come in twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably really important because outside of the warehouse brands, how much of a turnover are you doing? I mean, a lot of the producers that you work with and a lot of the things that I see you post on Instagram are smaller producers that I'm assuming run out of inventory occasionally throughout the year. Is there a lot of churn in your selection? There is.
I think it's partially stuff that I picked up as I was doing different types of buying over the years. It's just, and because it's also, the Haight has all of these different folks, and they're all like, it's a super diverse neighborhood where everybody likes different things, and I have maybe 500 spaces. So maybe 200 of those need to stay the same and stay reliable, but then these other 300, I'm going to do as many different things and keep things as fresh and as interesting, not just for the customers because they have come to really appreciate it and kind of respond to it. But also for me too.
Right.
Luckily, like I said, they have started to like, they started like maybe a year in to kind of come to me and go like, hey, what is new today? Like,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like, oh man, I kind of opened something up for myself.
Yeah.
I need to flip some inventory.
That's funny.
You're like, I didn't get anything new today. I kind of just bought the same stuff.
Yeah.
I was tired.
Yeah. I mean, that's good though, to be constantly pushing yourself. I mean, again, back into the kind of vein of like the amount of work that it takes to put on something new and the amount of passion it takes to be willing to do that work, I think is something that like you see when you go to restaurants often. You know, you'll go to a restaurant in North Beach. It's a great spot. It's been there forever. You walk in and it's like all Southern Glazer's wine.
Yeah.
You know, and there's times that I've gone in and I've said like, hey, I'd love to show you some wine. And they go, now buy everything from one company. All my wine, all my spirits, everything comes from one company. And I go, oh. And they go, yeah, it makes it easier. I go, oh, okay. So I can understand kind of like where that happens. But to just commend the amount of suffering you put yourself through. No, the amount of work that you put on your plate to bring in these wines and to showcase them and to sell them and to, you know, really work on kind of the enrichment of our industry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy it thoroughly, and I think if I had to do what you were talking about with the restaurant, I would probably just go and do something else.
Yeah.
Where I could like be an intense nerd.
Sure.
like,
and explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things for me, like, and maybe it's a character trait, or maybe it's just like the sense of survival, right? If you're the chef who's also the owner, who's also the general manager, and you don't have the time or the bandwidth to do it, I can completely understand.
Yeah.
Or if you're just the kind of person that's like, I don't really give a fuck. It's booze.
Yeah.
Or I don't care. It's food. Like, who cares, you know? Because there are some people. I was talking to somebody recently. I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, yeah, if it wasn't for this person, I would eat for sustenance. And I was like, what is that like? You know, why? Because there's so many beautiful flavors and there's so many wonderful things in this world that, like, I don't know. I would hate to just eat, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to admit, there definitely been times when I've been in that space, because you put so much energy into like what you're doing, like either palate wise or like trying to figure out the next thing you want to do, or like when I was working with produce, it's like this constant rotation of like I'm trying, you know, bits and pieces of everything off of the wet rack, just to see what it's like, and like different combinations, and like you get home and you're like, man, you know, I would kill a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not even thinking about it.
I've been eating Chanterelles tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, I really love some Doritos. Yeah.
Earlier on in the day, somebody freaked out because I just ate a raw shiitake without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not in a space
so
at the moment, but tomorrow I'm going to go right back in.
Right. Yeah, I feel like maybe you can, don't be sorry, it's fine. Maybe you can enlighten me on this. How much more challenging or maybe anxiety inducing is it to purchase produce than it is to purchase slightly more stable goods? You know, wine and beer are stable in their sense. Spirits are obviously significantly more stable, but like when you were buying grocery, was that like...
It depended on the thing. I mean, you know, the more perishable it is, like you were saying, the more you have to be right, the more you want to be responsible to your people who are supplying the things. Yeah. Because it's a lot of work, and if you are working, again, with direct producers, the way I like to do, then their product it takes a shorter time. You have to be more responsive to it. It is more anxious because you're also like, you know, you're wasting food and you don't want to be part of that culture. Yeah. So there's a lot more to it. I think food-wise, probably the thing that was least intense like that would have been like bulk. Because you have time with a 25-pound bag of granola. Sure. You don't have to worry quite as much. But yeah, there is a lot more pressure.
I'm thinking of like fresh lettuce. Just makes me nervous. Even in my refrigerator, I get nervous about it, you know?
Yeah, if you've ever had to open up a bag of Little Jims, like Blue House Little Jims, and they're not right anymore, you're like...
Yeah.
I should have gotten into this. Yeah.
Happens more often than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
It's usually that's the thing that sits in the bottom of the fridge. I go, I'm going to make a lot of salad this week. And I buy it, and it sits down there. And then I go, like, I buy a new one, and I go, oh, I already have one. I need to get to the old one. And then I look at the old one, and it's bad. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to use this new one that I bought. And then it sits in there all week again. I mean, that being said, I used the head of romaine yesterday, so I don't feel that guilty.
Right on.
Yeah, I feel like the grocery side of things would be more stressful in that sense. But it's also nice to hear that there are, and I mean, I know this in, let's say, like I've interviewed Josh Shapiro from Flatiron, and I've interviewed James at Artisan Wines, and like we're talking about boutique wine shops, and so it's nice to hear that there is time for you to be on the floor effectively selling. I mean, you're a sommelier in that sense, right? In the sense of like, I'm going to show you something, I'm going to tell you the story, and then you're going to buy it sight unseen. You don't even get to taste it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take it home and open it at home. It's kind of one of those things where like, it's the amount of time and effort that goes into selling a bottle on the floor is the amount of time it takes to sell a bottle on the floor. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Luckily, you get to go like, I would love for you to take this home and enjoy it. It's thankful. Like, thank goodness for the West set, because I like tableside would probably break me.
Sure. I mean, most of the time, if it's a learned thing. There's times you miss. There's times you recommend something and it doesn't land. It fucking happens. But that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of wine and the subjectivity around wine.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your Instagram. What is have you always posted as much as you do? What is kind of like your inspiration for posting? And I don't know, do you move through so much product that like the things when you post things, it's like a lot of new stuff. I mean, you guys are probably flying through wine there, right?
It feels like it sometimes. I think the drive there is just to have a good time, to like really kind of celebrate like how fun these things are.
Yeah.
And there's a wine for every person. There's a song for every thought. Like, it's easy to kind of put these things together and like kind of make these little 15-second ads. Mm-hmm. Because it's again, it's like kind of getting it out there, but it's another creative outlet. And you have kind of these tools, which are, the wines, and your phone, and like you can try with a bunch of different locations and see whether or not you like the light here, or like, this is something that I have in backstock that you're not going to be able to get for another week.
Yeah.
But let me know, because you can always run upstairs. So I definitely do get into ruts. Like I kind of think might be in one right now, to where like I haven't gotten a few new things in a little while, or the things that I've got are not necessarily something that I'm like automatically coming up with an idea for, because you just kind of you get a little fatigue.
Sure.
You just push and push and push, and you're like, I have no idea. Like, I can only Dutch tilt this so many times, or like, stretch it to kind of widen out the bottom.
Yeah.
Or like, I have no idea, like how to make like a little bit of motion on this so that it kind of also keeps the attention. Because a static picture to me is kind of boring. But you also don't want to make it so much you don't want to make it like a fireworks stand every single time.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, and I think it's like a puzzle that kind of keeps me going and moving back onto it, like finding a different angle, finding a different setting, finding some different light, a different wine. Like, do I like this, or do I just need to move it? Like,
Yeah. Do you feel like you get much of a feedback when you post something? Do people come in and buy it? Because there's lots of times that you've posted something that I want to come in and buy it. But we're Noe, so it's like a little far, and then and we obviously have so much wine that we don't know, more wine than we know what to do with. But
I mean, again, it's like it's the hate. They like everything good, so eventually it all sells. I I don't like most of the people who look at that are other industry folks.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look at like the views here and there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like this person works here, this person works here, this person is like, oh, somebody I was just chatting with yesterday, and every now and then you get those other ones where it's like Haight Ashbury resident, and you're like, all right, cool,
Sure.
I have no idea who this is.
That's so funny.
But they've probably walked in, and were gracious enough for me to not go, oh, that's me, or then to go like, is that you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe you need like a sticker you could put by the wine section, and it's like scan this QR code, and it's your Instagram, and it's like look at the weekly special, But then I guess you're liable to do it all the time, right? Which do you lose the love and the creativity if it's a requirement more than it's a hobby?
Well, I think too that's why I don't tend to send things in. When it comes to like the socials and stuff
Sure.
like that, because I like the autonomy of it to be like, I feel like doing it this week.
Yeah.
I feel like doing it this month. I'm like rotating through these things. Whereas I think if I had to like submit stuff, it would take a little bit of that out of it.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's also where it's like I like having kind of just a touch of separation where I'm basically tagging the store and not posting for the store.
Sure.
Lets me still kind of not be a spokesperson.
Totally. Yeah. You get your own autonomy again. Yeah. I mean, which seems to be kind of like the point, right? Is that you have the autonomy for the wines, you have the autonomy for what you post, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have some guidelines for yourself. Like don't cross any barriers you wouldn't cross in the store.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of times I swear. Well, I swear more now than I did when I was on the floor as a somm. I certainly wouldn't swear tableside, but occasionally now there'll be a couple F-bombs here and there.
Yeah.
Like fantastic and fun. Oh wait, no, not those. So earlier you were mentioning ESA wines, and you were talking about the Sauvignon Blanc and the Merlot, and you mentioned Habibie, and so how are you enjoying your time at Habibie? It sounds like it's your weekly stop in, and then if you could just quickly tell, like, I mean, I know Bauman. It's been forever since I've seen him, but it's a bar that was on. What street were they on? They
were on
Polk.
Union. Yeah.
They were on Union.
Yeah.
And it was like
or Hyde.
It was
they were on Hyde
pop up
Union
for a long time.
Right.
And now they've opened a full space, I guess,
Right.
which I still haven't been to, unfortunately. But
well, I walked in there like I was curious about it because I saw this place that was called Bacchus. Like I was kind of looking for like fun spots. I saw that it was that, and then I saw that it was Habibie, and I walked in. And it was super casual, super tiny. I happened to have, like, I was still, like, super jazzed about picking vermouths and stuff. And I had, like I'd gotten my first allocation, or not an allocation, but, like, we picked up a case of Matthias and vermouth.
Cool.
Like, a 6-pack. And so, I grabbed that and I rolled in, and Bauman was tasting with a group of folks, and I was like, man, you want to try this with me? Like, I'm like, this is fun. Yeah. This seems fun to me. And he's like, yeah. And then like we started chit-chatting, and then like I started listening into some of his tastings, and I'd go early on so that I could kind of hang out with the reps, because I didn't have a lot of time to really interact with them when I would sit in on tastings with Lance as his clerk / spirits buyer.
Right.
So it gave me a little bit more leeway to kind of listen, ask questions, and do things at my own pace, try things that I was interested in on my own, and kind of start to grow knowledge outside. Like I really wanted that like external mentorship. And so they were like, it was immediately available there. And there were also a lot of avenues by being there that went further out. That's how I met Andrew from Golden Sardine. And then eventually started hanging out with him, and then, meeting that whole crowd, because there is overlap, but there are also definitely differences.
For sure.
And it was just kind of a really good industry space. Like every time I would go in, I would meet somebody that I hadn't had hardly any time to talk with. And so I'd be able to pick their brains and kind of listen in and see how to taste and like what people were looking for. It was just kind of like a small tutoring space.
Sure. That's great. Yeah, I mean, the open space concept of people being able to taste together is so important. And anytime I go in to do a tasting, somebody goes, is it okay if this person sits down? I'm like, 1,000,000%. You know, absolutely. The more people, the merrier. I mean, really, it's one of those things where I think that, again, on the dogma side of things, on the sales side, is like, well, if it's the buyer that's tasting, I'll taste. If it's not the buyer, I don't really want to taste. I mean, sometimes I walk in and somebody will go, oh, yeah, I don't really have full autonomy and blah, blah, blah. I go, yeah, whatever. Who cares? That's great.
Like, try it.
Taste the wine.
Yeah.
Like, do any of your staff want to taste it? And I say that all the time. If I come in and there's something that's on the menu that I have in the bag, I go, do you want your whole staff to taste this? I'll pour it for all of you guys now. Because it's, I mean, the more the merrier. The more stuff that we get to taste, the more stuff that, like, even a junior buyer, a spirits buyer gets to taste that's wine related. It's like, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Or it's not, and it doesn't, there's no harm.
Yeah.
There's no harm in somebody else tasting the wine.
Yeah.
You know?
I think one of the people that does that for me is Crystal over at Oliver McCrum. Have you met her?
I don't think so.
Crystal Peoples. Like, she's that way too. Be like, who on your staff? Like I needed somebody who could teach basics on wine to Spanish as a first language person, and was like, can you help me out? She's saying, like, spent an hour with this person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like find a way to build an opportunity, you know. And so she hung out with him, and like I was really appreciative because like I can't properly communicate this way, but thankfully there's a resource in somebody who feels the way that you do. It's like, yeah, let's absolutely try it. Let's spend some time.
I mean, that's the only way the industry is going to get better. Yeah. I mean, they say it's the bed you laid, right? And if we want the industry to be in a better place, I mean, we've got to really focus on that. If we want the industry to be healthier, we have to focus on that. We've got to help grow it, and we've got to help people feel inspired, and we need to help people feel like they can approach it. And if they don't, I mean, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Well, I think that's also part of like why I try to aim for fun most of the time too, because it's not like we're selling kale over here. Yeah. Like, it really is. It's a luxury thing that's going to get you kind of drunk. Yeah. You know, like you don't need.
You're not going to hit your macros, but that's okay.
You might be like, I need it, but like you don't really need it.
That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, wine is, like, to me, the whole purpose of wine is to, like, bring people together.
Yeah, to enjoy it.
It's sold in a bottle. Is that one serving? It's not. You should share it, you know? It's like, if a glass of wine a day is a serving and there's 4 to 5 glasses in a bottle, like, and it goes bad after 2 days, like, it's a natural thing to share it.
Yeah.
I mean, something that we haven't done in a while that we should try to do again. We're in a 30-unit complex, and I keep, like, occasionally, if I have bottles open, I'll like go put them on doorsteps and just go like,
oh, that's fun.
Have fun, you know, because it's there, and most of the time people get super stoked on it. But it's also like, I feel nervous. There's some like teenage kids in the building, and I'm like, I don't want to just like leave bottles out and
that's
like
a fair concern.
Have something happen to them. So it's mostly just like, ding dong ditch, you know. I'll go and like and knock on the door and leave a bottle of wine and run and hide around the corner and look. Okay, they got it.
I'm glid you know your neighbors enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, who keeps leaving trash?
Why is there an open bottle of wine on my doorstep? Did somebody put something in this?
Like, we've come a long way since flaming bags of poop.
Exactly. Yeah. We're much more classy now. And then Andrew at Golden Sardine is a great person in our industry, and Bauman obviously. And then I think when I think of that vein, I also think about Fool's Errand. And there's so many cool places that I think of that are like, they're wine bars, yes, but they're more than that, because they're like industry hangs. And like, how are they industry hangs? Well, because they're putting in a lot of work to buy unique things. It doesn't always work out, but they're always willing to try to keep like reinventing. Yeah. And all of those people work there. You know, there's a lot of wine bars where the owner doesn't work behind the bar. Yeah. There's a lot of wine bars where it's the same fucking wine on the menu for a year at a time, you know? And you're like, it'd be cool if that would be different, you know? And or there's again a lot of wine bars that are just kind of like more generic wines, which again is fine. But I think using the platform of the menu or using the platform of the shelf to kind of promote something is an effort, but it's an effort that should be appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, it's also fun too to be like, oh yeah, if you like this, go over to this place. You can get it by the glass.
Yes.
Try it out, get it there, and come back and get it here after you get it there.
Right, right, yeah.
Like get one to go from there, and then once you drank that one, I've got you for the next.
And one of my favorite things too, in that same sense, is kind of like being a resource to people in the sense of like, if they come in and they go like, I don't really know a lot about wine.
Like, awesome.
You go, yeah, no problem. Like, I have a friend. There's a wine bar. You can go get like a half glass of 3 or 4 things, and you can try a bunch of stuff. You know, and like that's how you learn, right? It's not as scary as intimidating. Like, I'm not asking you to buy a $75 bottle off the shelf. Like, you know, there's unless a lot of great unless you want to. It's not a bad place to start.
No.
But you know, there's like a lot of like 10, 15s. You know, I think one of the things that Andrew does at Golden Sardine is he always has an $8 glass of wine.
Yeah.
I think was like one of the things he said when he was first opening. And I think it's still true that was like one of his must-haves. It was always like 10 Rieslings by the glass, and then it was like a must-have $8 by the glass.
Yeah.
And I was just like, interesting qualifiers to put on something, but cool, because you can go in. I mean, that's cheaper than most beer these days. You go to a bar these days, and most beers are $10 or $12. You know, so it's a lot of effort that these people put in, and you put in as well for like a thoughtful selection.
Yeah,
which I feel like is maybe having a renaissance, but it feels like it was dwindling for quite some time. So, yeah. Tell me more about this Mathiasen vermouth. I didn't even know that they made a vermouth. This is fascinating.
It's been a little while now. I think it was made with Flora, the UC Davis grape. Is like
the grape called Flora?
Yeah.
I don't know this grape either. What the fuck is this?
Like that's part of that's part of the thing I like freaked out about, because I was like, oh man, UC Davis has an awesome agricultural program.
Wow.
Like they developed this grape, is that right? Like I think that's.
And then we're turning it into vermouth.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous, like nectar, it's honey, it like has these like really pretty herbs to it.
Cool.
And yeah, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm definitely doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like this is something that I like am very satisfied being a part of. Because you get to try these things, and that particular category I love at least as much as like the whole thing together, because like having to find the grape and then put it on the site and then make a wine and then pick whatever herbs or crazy things you want to throw in it and like try to match it to the other thing, like that's a whole other level, and bless the people who do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I think too. It was also kind of a oh yeah thing for Lance at the time, because I was like talking to him about vermouth, and he's like, nobody drinks vermouth. What are you talking about? I was like, you're insane. Yeah. People drink good vermouth.
Well, yeah, I guess nobody's drinking Martini and Rossi.
Yeah.
Right? Like not anymore.
Like if you're killing a glass of Dolan a day, great.
Yeah,
you know,
well, or not.
Yeah.
You got a kidney of steel, liver of steel. Okay, so the grape is called Flora.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to check this out.
If I remember
when does it
correctly.
come out? Do you have more of it? Does it come in once a year or something?
That was a couple. I think it's on the book. It's on Revel's list right now.
Okay.
And I don't know what edition they're on. It might be like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? But that was my first year, so that would have been about 3 years ago, right before the holidays. I guess it was on allocation, but then somebody didn't pick up their thing, and I was like, dude, we should totally grab this.
Yeah.
And like, I realized it's going to be $50 for like a $3.75.
Yeah.
But like, just do it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure,
like,
for sure.
like I'll move it, I promise.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that reminds me too of like Marjoram Amaro. Have you had the Marjoram Amaro?
there's a possibility, but it doesn't ring a bell. Like,
So
you know.
within the Chambers portfolio, there's the Marjoram. Marjoram is the winery in Santa Barbara.
Gerum.
Yeah. And not margarine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or like the herb. Like,
Yeah. Right. So Doug has like, he makes M5 and M5 white and M5 red, which is 5 variety blends. And then he makes great rosé of Cinsault. He makes Grenache. He makes all kinds of shit. The Sauvignon Blanc was always the like easy sell when I was there. The Bi-Rite Sauvignon Blanc. But we would get this Amaro that when I started, they started packaging 375s and 750s, and the 375s were for retail and the 750s were for on-prem. I'm sorry, and it was like 100% Sangiovese based Amaro, and all of the botanicals and herbs came from like Doug's garden.
That sounds fun.
And then it was it's like a Solera.
Yeah.
So it was like the 12, 13, 14, and when he would change it over to the next barrel, like the old barrel would have like a bunch of sludge in the bottom that was all just like things that would drop out of the aroma. I never say it right. Aromatizing process.
Right.
But yeah, I love these things that these winemakers are like putting so much time and effort into for like some geeky fucking side project,
right.
You know? But those are the Easter eggs, I think, for people in the industry.
So too,
yeah.
You know? I think that's how I wound up. There was another one that's out of Macrum, the Gotha. They do one that's a Citarale. It's the dry. It's made with Zabibbo. I was like reading the list, and it's like, okay, it's got capers and grapefruit juice and seawater. Awesome.
Wow.
Hell yeah, I want to try. And then like that's the whole thing of like, this is what Zabibbo is. And like,
yeah.
It has like 12 different names. Like it's another muscat, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, how many Malvasias out? How many Grecos? how many this? How many that? Like, fucking, it's just chaos. But I think that feeds your brain as well as it does mine, which is that like more. I want to dive further, and wine is just this like limitless pool of chaos, which kind of draws people in sometimes. Yeah. What do you think about the wines? I like your wine a lot. I don't know what it is too, but it's a little tricky for me. I know that we both agreed that these wines weren't blindable, but yours is just like, I don't know. I mean, I almost want to pick a country, but I also could totally be wrong. It has this really cool like plummy characteristic to it. It had like a little bit of VA when it was first in the glass that like makes me think Old World. It makes me think Italy, right? But then I'm like, plumminess, I don't really know, but
I think there's a fun menthol thing too when you go from side to side.
Yeah.
Like if you go right ahead, back to back.
Yeah, it does have that really nice kind of like cooling characteristic to it, right? Yeah, no fucking clue. But great.
Almost vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm reluctant. I'm always reluctant to be a song because it's like freaking. At the end of the day, this is all just guesswork, you know.
Yeah, right. You're like what do they call it? That like what do they call it on the practical? For West, it's popcorning.
Yeah,
You're like I'm just gonna list everything.
Yeah,
since there's nothing
exactly.
wrong.
Yeah,
You're like how many different terms can I throw?
100%. Wow, the acid on wine is through the roof. I mean, it's hard to go from the red to the white. I was just like realizing it, but anyways. Okay, so mine is
brown bag special here.
I love it. No, that's
Gus's
great.
Brown bag special.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's everything that I would have wanted. We just rolled vintages, but at my job we just picked up the Badenhorst wines in July, and I haven't had a chance to taste through all the wines, but this just rolled into the 23 vintage. We don't have distribution in California currently, but that's not the point. The point is this is one of the Badenhorst family wines, which is one of the estate wines.
Okay, cool.
And it's like a Chenin-based blend. There's
nice.
When you look it up online, it says like Chenin, Muscat, and other varieties, and the percentages added together is like 60%. So there's 40% other. I think I saw a Palomino. I think I saw a bunch of other stuff in there. So just like a fun high acid white. And because this is the bottles that they shipped us from Australia, the government warning is don't drink and walk on the road. You may be killed. That's the South African, don't drink this while you're pregnant.
That's a great warning. It reminds me of like Black Death cigarettes where they're like, smoking kills you. Like,
yeah, I mean, I just got back from Mexico. All the cigarette packs have like deformities and stuff on them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of countries aren't shy about this stuff.
Well, I mentioned them earlier, but I was like I said, I was on the way out of work, and I was like, what am I going to grab just for the heck of having something? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to grab this because I love it, and because that gets me closer to another order.
Yeah.
And that is Donnie. That's Laonda.
Oh, yeah.
The Maria and Flora.
I don't think I've ever actually had these wines. I've had so many people talk to me about them before, but I don't think I've actually had them. So this is single vineyard from Preston Vineyard, and this is what varietally? What is this?
Cinsault and Carignan.
Wow, fucking cool! And I love when they do this. 1,152 bottles produced. That's one of the things that I always love when I see on the back of a wine, and as somebody that loves like a lot of the smaller producers, I'm always like very appreciative of that. That's less than 100 cases because 100 cases would have been 1,200. So
he just came by the other day and was like, and had some new stuff, and that I kind of remembered that when I was grabbing it, but not like I'm thinking about it more, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited to place that again.
So cool. What a
and I
fun.
love how many customers like recognize it too. And I'm like,
Really?
That's freaking awesome that you guys walk in here and you know his stuff just from looking across the room.
It's such a cute label, and I love that the picture on the front is like somebody dancing. For anybody that's listening, it's somebody dancing, and then it has a timestamp on the bottom that says August 1969, which is super cool because I think it really kind of like shows the care and attention that went into it. You know, it's not just like, oh, let me run a wine label through ChatGPT and put whatever on the label, but
yeah, man, I love. It's one of my fun things. Like, it sounds corny every now and then when you say it, but it almost becomes repetitive to where you're like, people walk in there like, I absolutely love the selection in here, and it's like I work with some awesome people, man.
Yeah.
Like between the producers and the people who distribute and like the reps and the drivers.
Yeah.
Like there are some excellent folks.
Yeah.
And like alongside these awesome things that we get to taste, that's amazing. Is like all these people that are involved in getting it here.
The whole ecosystem, I think, is so important. Somebody, when we were in Mexico, was just saying, like, oh, it feels like you guys know all the places to go. And I said, well, I only know the places to go because of the people that I asked. Yeah. So really, like, it's because of all of the advice and all of the, like, care and attention that other people have paid that I get to have a super, super sick experience. You know what I mean? Cool. Well, we're to the point where I've got to ask you if you have any advice, if you have any hot takes, if you have any statements that you want to make for the listeners, which are mostly industry. There's not all industry, but
I don't know that I necessarily like. I try to ask more questions than opinions, like than give opinions for myself. I don't know that necessarily like the best thing for everybody, but like at least what works. Like my own attitude for myself is to kind of realize that like no matter what I try, somebody knows more. Yeah. No matter how much I know, somebody just started today. Like somebody just had their first class today, or is just asking about wine for the first time. And so just trying to be in the middle of those two things of like the person who studies and the person who has every question in the world makes me happy. Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Never be at one end or the other. But I like to ask more questions than have opinions because I think that's important. I mean, the more we can learn, the better, because none of us will ever know anything about wine. Yeah. None of us will ever know everything about wine. We know some stuff about wine, a little bit, but you know, there's always going to be people that know more, and there's always going to be people that know more about particular categories. Even if you climb one mountain, there's a million mountains. You know, like I was sitting down for lunch today with a winemaker, and he was talking about botrytis and how it develops, and sulfites and how they degrade over time, and I was just like, ugh, like I've heard it before, but it just like I hear it and I'm like, fuck, there's so much more to learn. Yeah, all the time. And then that's that's part of the like that's part of the beauty of this particular field. I feel it's like all of these, and they're different all the time. Like especially with climate change, it's like it's constantly evolving. So what you know today, what you got tested on earlier in the year or last year or 2 years ago is already outdated. Right. You know, it was when you took the test. You know, it was when you took your class. Yeah. So yeah, it was a blast. Love it. All right. Well, let's wrap her up. Thanks for the great juice. Yeah, you too. I appreciate it. Cheers. When do you hope to get a distribution on that? That's a good question. I mean, we're trying to finalize some stuff right now, but
Who do you think you would like to have on it?
I'll cut the episode first. I'll cut
Right?
the episode
Yeah.
first. Okay.
Where would you like it to go?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of opinion.
Yeah.
See, more questions. You're like, what do you think?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.